While everyone was watching silver prices fall on a screen, a quiet decision inside a Samsung lab may have just changed the future of global energy and broken the silver market forever. The price smash you saw wasn't an accident. When silver was pushed down into the low 60s, the message was clear: the rally is over, the bubble has popped, move along. That story is convenient. It keeps attention glued to charts, not to reality. Because while paper contracts were being dumped and algorithms were playing their usual games, something far more important was unfolding halfway across the world. In South Korea, Samsung SDI quietly confirmed the specifications for a new solid-state battery production line. And buried inside that announcement is a detail so explosive it makes recent silver price action completely irrelevant. Most headlines focused on the flashy parts: ultra, long driving ranges, charging times measured in minutes, and safer electric vehicles. What almost no one mentioned is the material that makes those breakthroughs possible. It isn't lithium. It isn't cobalt. It isn't nickel. The real enabler, the component that turns solid-state batteries from theory into reality, is silver. Not as a minor additive, not as wiring or contacts, but as a functional, structural element of the battery itself. That single shift changes everything. Silver is no longer just a precious or industrial metal. It becomes a strategic energy material, and the global supply chain is nowhere near ready for that transition. To understand why this matters, you need a bit of background on battery chemistry. For decades, lithium-ion batteries have powered everything from smartphones to electric vehicles. They work well, but they have a built-in weakness: dendrites. When lithium batteries charge too fast or degrade over time, tiny needle-like structures grow inside the cell. These dendrites can pierce internal barriers, causing short circuits, fires, and catastrophic failures. That's why EVs charge slowly, lose performance in cold weather, and occasionally make headlines for all the wrong reasons. The holy grail has always been the solid-state battery. Remove the liquid electrolyte, eliminate most fire risks, charge faster, and pack in far more energy. The problem is that solid-state designs struggled with the same dendrite issue, often worse than before. Graphite couldn't handle it. Silicon expanded too much. Pure lithium metal was unstable. For years, every major automaker promised breakthroughs that never arrived. Samsung's researchers found a way through that wall. Their solution was a nanocomposite layer made from silver and carbon, applied to the anode. This layer allows lithium ions to move evenly and smoothly, preventing dendrites from forming in the first place. The silver acts as a host, distributing lithium uniformly instead of letting it spike into dangerous structures. The result is a battery that's smaller, lighter, safer, and dramatically faster to charge. This isn't speculation. It's published science. It's in prototypes. And now it's being prepared for scale. Here's the catch: this design requires real silver, not micrograms, not decorative traces. Grams. For the first time, silver becomes part of the battery's electrochemical core. When automakers scale this technology, silver demand doesn't rise gradually, it jumps. Right now, conventional cars use around 15 to 20 grams of silver in electronics and controls. Electric vehicles already use more, often 30 to 50 grams, thanks to inverters, power systems, and battery management hardware. That increase alone has helped push the silver market into a structural deficit, but solid-state batteries change the equation completely. Instead of sprinkling silver across components, manufacturers must coat the anode of every battery cell. Conservative estimates suggest tens of grams per vehicle. Less conservative scenarios push that number far higher, especially for long-range or high-performance models. Even if you assume the lowest plausible increase, the math gets uncomfortable very fast. Global car production runs into the tens of millions per year. If even a fraction of those vehicles adopt silver-based solid-state batteries, demand quickly climbs into the tens or hundreds of millions of ounces annually. That's on top of existing industrial, solar, jewelry, and investment demand. And global silver mining has been flat for years. This is where the illusion breaks. The world already consumes more silver than it produces. Inventories have been quietly shrinking to fill the gap. Introducing a new technology that can absorb a quarter or more of annual mine supply is not something the market can casually absorb. While traders focused on short-term price swings, manufacturers were likely doing something very different, locking in long-term supply. Battery factories worth billions of dollars are useless without guaranteed access to critical materials. Samsung understands that, so do Toyota, Volkswagen, and every other company racing toward solid-state production. This marks a deeper shift in demand behavior. Historically, silver's industrial use was forgiving. Small amounts meant price didn't matter much. If silver doubled, the cost impact on consumer electronics was negligible. But batteries are different. When silver becomes a meaningful line item in a vehicle's bill of materials, price volatility turns into an existential threat for manufacturers. That's why this demand is inelastic. Engineers can try to reduce silver usage, coat it thinner, or substitute materials, but chemistry doesn't negotiate. Reduce the silver too far, and dendrites return. When dendrites return, safety disappears. No automaker is going to risk mass market vehicles that might fail catastrophically just to save on material costs. This puts the auto industry in a bind. Two massive sectors, energy and transportation, are simultaneously pivoting toward technologies that require more silver, not less. And they're doing it after a decade of underinvestment in mining. Recycling won't save the situation either. Silver recycling rates are low because the metal is dispersed in tiny amounts across countless devices. Recovering it often costs more than the silver is worth. Even in batteries, where silver content is higher, recycling happens decades later. Silver used in batteries today is effectively removed from circulation for a generation. Mining can't respond quickly enough. New mines take many years to develop, ore grades are falling, and political risks are rising in major producing countries. Supply growth is slow, expensive, and uncertain, precisely when demand is becoming urgent. This leads to a paradox. Governments are mandating electric vehicle adoption and subsidizing battery factories, yet the materials required to make those batteries affordable are becoming scarce. If silver prices rise sharply, battery costs rise with them. If battery costs rise, EV affordability collapses. But governments can't allow that collapse without undermining their own policies. History shows how this tends to end. Materials deemed essential to national goals are often reclassified as strategic. Allocation shifts toward industry. Civilian access becomes secondary. Free markets bend under political pressure. This is why recent price drops should be viewed with skepticism. Paper markets can push prices around temporarily, but they cannot change physical reality. A few dollars up or down doesn't alter battery chemistry. It doesn't create new mines. It doesn't erase the need for silver in solid-state designs. What we are witnessing is an information gap. Markets are still pricing silver as if demand grows smoothly over time. Solid-state batteries represent a step change, not a trend line. Similar blind spots have played out before, when new technology suddenly overwhelmed supply chains and prices exploded years after the warning signs were visible. The silver bomb hasn't hit price charts yet because adoption is still early and narratives lag reality. But the detonation already happened in research labs, pilot lines, and procurement plans. When mass market vehicles using this technology are officially launched, the conversation will change overnight. By then, silver won't be framed as a commodity. It will be discussed as infrastructure, as energy input, as a bottleneck. That's why focusing solely on short-term price action misses the point. The real story isn't what silver did last Friday. It's what Samsung quietly confirmed behind closed doors. Once you understand that shift, temporary volatility looks less like a signal and more like noise. The banks may be trading paper. Samsung is playing by the rules of physics. And physics always has the final say. This isn't just a battery breakthrough. It's the beginning of the silver, carbon era, and the global supply chain is about to find out what that really means.